Good evening to our viewers here in Guyana and online. I'm Travis Chase with the Friday, August 13 edition of the HGP Nightly News. Here's what you need to know this evening. The People's Militia has been re-established. President David Granger on Thursday announced that each capital town and administrative region in Guyana will have a unit of the Guyana's People's Militia with the aim of equipping young people with critical skills. Rodin James reports.
The head of state made the announcement at the Colonel Mitchell Jungle at Amphibious Training School in the Essequibo River. Mr. Granger said the training offers tremendous benefits to soldiers and civilians, particularly young people, keep them physically fit and provide them with valuable life skills that they will be able to put into practice in an operational setting.
We believe in the strategy of total national defense. That is to say, bring together all of the elements that our country could mobilize to protect our environment, to protect our territoriality. We have a border of over 1,100 kilometers with Brazil. We have a border with over 800 kilometers with Venezuela and almost a similar length, over 800 kilometers with Suriname. This is a tremendous responsibility for a small country.
The Commander-in-Chief explained that in addition to safeguarding the country's sovereignty and territorial integrity, the Guyana Defense Force also has a role of ensuring that the civil power is supported. President Granger also reminded ranks and reservists of the core values of the organization to which they belong.
In becoming an army of the people, in becoming a national army, in becoming part of this process of total national defense, I just want to emphasize the importance over and over again, as the Chief of Staff has mentioned, about the environment. You like fish in water here. You cannot stay in Georgetown, you cannot stay in New Amsterdam, you cannot stay in Linden and understand what the jungle is. The jungle is your friend. The jungle feeds you, it protects you, and you have to learn to operate in the jungle or else you will die. We cannot defend this country by being in the towns and the cities. We can only defend it by being able to live and survive in this environment.
Chief of Staff of the Guyana Defense Force, Brigadier Patrick West, said that this camp allows people to get rid of phobias which are inherent in some persons based on where they grew up. It also allows them the opportunity to develop skills which can be useful if they choose employment in the mining or forestry sectors.
Mr. President, I can assure you we have fulfilled your mandate in creating a reserve force based on your direction on the 1st of December 2015. And we are happy to note that this force is growing, and very soon they will be augmented into a regular force on force exercises and other operations. As they stand now, they can be involved in firefighting and disaster relief operations.
The 2017 camp commenced on July 30 with 414 reservists drawn from regions 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 10. Royden James, HGP Nightly News.
Thank you, Royden. Climate change is a growing concern in Guyana since it could negatively impact the country's food production and the consumer price index. But with adaptation, there is strong possibility of mitigating these burdens. Kristen Macklingam reports.
Many countries are already feeling the negative effects of climate change, and Guyana is no exception. It is being suggested by Assistant Professor of Economics at the University of South Alabama, Hermano Afuso, that there needs to be adaptation swiftly to ensure food security in the future.
Climate change is not going to make things easier. In fact, climatic disasters like drought or flood, they may have an impact on the production of food in many countries, or also create some market-driven externalities that they can rise the price of food and decrease the access to food of many countries.
Assistant Professor Afuso presenting a report on food security and climate change in Guyana at the 32nd West Indies Agricultural Economics Conference 2017. He explained that there will be a domino effect once heavy rains occur in Guyana. Food production will minimize, food prices will escalate, and more of the population will end up victims of undernourishment.
The rainfall anomaly, in fact, if there is a year that has been a flood or particularly rainy amount of food produced in Guyana will go down.
However, Professor Afuso noted that should Guyana be able to predict the weather patterns almost a year in advance, then it would benefit the population, and more so the farmers, tremendously.
So that would be useful to help the farmers to make more strategic decisions on the crops and on the technique, the plantation, the practices, the best practices that they use, and mitigate the impact of climate change and food security. Definitely technology may play a very important role in the future.
Reporting for HGP Nightly News, I am Kristen Macklingham.
Although $40 million in bonds has been set aside and is available to affected Dynamic Airways passengers, passengers have not been claiming for those bonds but have been commenting on the poor service offered. Rodin James reports.
Since flying the Guyana route, Dynamic Airways on a number of occasions failed to provide quality service to travelers. Persons on a number of occasions experienced days of delays. And as recent as last week, hundreds of passengers were left stranded at the Chadijagan International Airport after a number of cancellations by the airline due to problems the aircraft developed on its way to Guyana. But even as passengers continue to experience this unusual service, they are not seeking compensation. Nightly News questioned Director General of the Guyana Civil Aviation Authority, retired Colonel Egbert Field, on the matter on Thursday.
No one has really made any claims. The individuals have been commenting, though, about the delays being suffered, but no one has been making claims. And I guess the reason is because Dynamic and Fly Jamaica, they continue to offer the service.
Mr. Field said that the Civil Aviation Authority has been advising operators to stick to their schedule and only a safety concern should be cause for a delay.
We do not like delays. If delays are chronic, well then it says something about the system of the operator. But if the delays if they're interspersed, if they're now and then, we do understand. But even though we do understand, we still impress on the operator the element of keeping the schedule, and we ensure that they stick to the safety regulations which should be governing them.
If passengers require refunds, they would have to make the claim through the Business Ministry's Consumer Protection Department.
We are utterly concerned with the safety of the passengers. And if a cautionary stop was made, the CA would understand that. But not on the chronic delays, which would involve the operation, or if it is systemic in the organization, then we have to look at it very closely to see if it's a management problem, competency problem, etc.
In a Facebook post, local representative for Dynamic Airways, Captain Jerry Gavaya, said, I quote, "The airline operates 5 flights weekly and move 250 to 280 passengers on each flight, with 95% of the flights on schedule." The post further reads, "Show me an airline that do not stumble, and I'll show you an airline that do not take the skies." Unquote. Royden James, HGP Nightly News.
Thank you, Royden. We take you now to details of that ongoing Commission of Inquiry probing that alleged plot to assassinate the president. Andrew Gillard took the stand today again as the Commission of Inquiry probing the alleged plot to assassinate the president continued. Attorney Glenn Hanneman, representing Police Commissioner Silal Prasad, questioned Mr. Gillard's mental competence.
And he said to me, "What happened to you after now? You have to go through it. You're a stupid black man. And if you had killed the president or organized the killing of the president, nobody could not have removed you from the property, but you would have become the owner of the property." Right. Because at that time, of course, Nizam Khan was aware that the property was in dispute and they had to sell.
Gillard basically maintained his story that he was approached by Mr. Khan to assassinate President Granger. Retired Chief Justice Ian Chang suggested to Gillard that he might be telling a lie, to which Gillard responded.
Important names of that statement because the police...
I was telling Pitam on the factuality of the alliance between Mr. Imran Khan, Nizam Khan, Ian Chang, Silal Prasad, Blanum, Caesar, and those people. And he was saying that these are the same people that have to review the file, review your statements, sir. So keep your names minimal.
Gillard complained to the commission of the runaround the police had given him after the report was made, suggesting that the Khan brothers have intricate connections in the Guyana police force.
If you could get that policeman that is there on the right-hand door as you're going to CID, he would tell you how many occasions I was there, and I was asking just to sign my name in so that he could prove that I was visiting there, and I was denied that I was denied that all the time. Even the police that is in that office there came out and said, Gillard, what is the issue?
The inquiry continues on Wednesday, where the police legal advisor, Justice Claudette Singh, is expected to take the stand. Travis Chase, HGP Nightly News. Commander of C Division Calvin Brutus is encouraging victims of crime to be bold by helping the police on the east coast of Demerara to mete out justice. Jeff Vickery reports.
Free, stand up to them, let them know that you will not stick the crimes that they're perpetrating, their behaviors, so that by coming out and identifying them and sharing that information and putting them behind bars, they'll know that you're serious, and that in itself can act as a deterrent.
That was Commander of C Division Calvin Brutus speaking to Nightly News on Wednesday. He wants victims of crime to come forward with greater frequency. In reference to the business community on the East Coast, he reiterated the importance of personal security.
Particularly those in the business community and those who traverse the road, particularly at nights. Persons who are leaving work and going home at nights, we have many of the robberies that I mentioned earlier are street-type robberies. You hardly find home invasions now. Is soft targets. They look for... Most times the robberies just involve a cellular phone, nothing more, just a cellular phone.
Mr. Brutus stated that identifying suspects after a robbery or any violent act is perpetrated is of importance to the police. He stated persons must also be security conscious.
To be security conscious, pay attention to gatherings, lighting facility, try to walk, if you have somebody that you know, walk with them in and don't walk by yourself. If you can get transportation, go with the transportation, and that is much safer. But quite critical though, is to cooperate with the police when robbery is perpetrated against yourself, and we arrest the suspect based on the description you gave and information.
The commander also encourages citizens to report any suspicious behavior or violence to the police. Javon Vickery, HGP Nightly News.
Thank you, Jevon. Due to persistent rainfall in the Hinterland over the past few months, the Letham-Linden Road project and several other Hinterland road works had to be suspended. The details from Roydon James.
Due to the May-June rains and persistent heavy rainfall after that period, works on the Linden-Letham Road and several other Hinterland Road projects were forced to be suspended. This is according to Public Infrastructure Minister David Patterson. The minister explained that during the rainy season, contracts that were awarded were stalled. He noted that for the Linden-Letham Road, they were faced with several issues beyond their control.
I mean, the Linden-Letham Road, I know a lot of persons are complaining about that, and they have all right to complain. But it's an issue which out of our control in the sense that the riverbanks, from the Earring and the Takatu, have overflowed their banks, so the water is just accumulating in the valley there. But
further, the minister highlighted that the ministry is exploring the use of more durable materials for the construction of hinterland roads. The minister has instructed his contractors to use a bit more geotextile on the roads.
I've asked them to contact those persons and those agencies that would have expressed an interest locally and internationally so that we can do stretches, maybe no more than a quarter mile, each with these various compounds to see which of them can actually work in the Guyanese soil, and then obviously I would like that to go ahead. So therefore we don't have this perturbial rainy season battle every year. So.
The Letam Linden, Aichuni to Kokwani, and the road to Madia are priority, the minister explained, since those are the heavily traversed roadways.
There are other hinterland roads which are being used by the mining and the logging community. They, unfortunately, suffer from a slightly different issue, which is a question of overweight trucks. It's the GGMC in my ministry has a MOU which says that a truck traversing there can carry no more than 20 to 24 to 28 drums of diesel, which is the agreed weight limit. Unfortunately, we have trucks going in there with in excess of 60, 70 drums of diesel.
According to Minister Patterson, to date, the ministry has completed 91% of its work program, with a total of 83% of contracts being awarded. Several of the 28 projects yet to be tendered are being redefined. Royden James, HJP Nightly News.
It's now been established that youths are highly rated among smokers in Guyana. This was revealed by a survey conducted at 25 schools through a collaborative effort between PAHO, WHO, and the Ministry of Public Health. Ayana George reports.
It's a dissemination for the Global Youth Tobacco Survey 2015 report, with a disturbing 77.4% of youth smoking or using tobacco products. With help from the Chronic Disease Department, PAHO WHO, and the Ministry of Public Health carried out an assessment of tobacco use among youths in Guyana. The Global Youth Tobacco Survey. PAHO Country Representative Dr. William Adukro stated that the findings of the Youth Tobacco Survey is a troubling sign.
For us, it should not just be a question of just the results, but what do we do? Someone asked me that the tobacco company is saying that the jury is still out. And I told this lady who asked me that question, I said, I think the jury has already returned into the courtroom and they've given us the verdict. And the verdict is guilty as charged.
A seminar on Thursday on the 2015 report of the Global Youth Tobacco Survey revealed that 1,697 youths between the ages of 13 to 15 years participated in the survey. The survey revealed that 16% of male participants, boys really, smoked cigarettes, and 7.4% girls who took part in the survey also smoked.
Why do I bring in the issue of addiction? Because if we look at the health belief model, and it's telling us that if we make children, give them enough education so that they know that so that they begin to perceive themselves as more susceptible, which was significant. Even if they don't see cigarette smoking to lead to any, in terms of severity, they don't reckon with that. They reckon with susceptibility and they reckon with use to action.
Dr. Adukro stressed that the youths need to be protected since they start to smoke as early as age 7. PAHO WHO consultant for the Global Tobacco Youth Survey, Dr. Maurice Edwards, spoke of the methodology of the survey and the alarming health risk foisted on the youths by tobacco use.
Honorable Minister, Dr. Karen Collins, PAHO WHO representative, Dr. William Adukro, other members of the head table, colleagues, friends, well-wishers, members of the media. It's a distinct pleasure to stand here this morning and to present the findings of the Guyana Global Youth Tobacco Survey 2015.
He said the main objective is to protect the future generation from the various problems associated with smoking. Minister within the Ministry of Public Health, Dr. Karen Cummins, says the Ministry of Public Health is experiencing a scourge that will not change overnight without work. From the Marriott, reporting for HGP Nightly News, Ayana George.
Thank you, Ayana. Coconut farming is becoming quite lucrative in Guyana, but a recent evaluation to determine its profitability has revealed that copper production is no longer the highest exporting commodity in this business. Here's Kristen Macklingam.
While farmers are making more investments in the coconut industry in Guyana, copra production is no longer the leading lady in the dance and has been replaced by other coconut-related commodities which are raking in the highest revenues. That's according to General Manager of the New Guyana Marketing Corporation, Ida Seeley Adams.
These findings would have supported our recent development in that copra production is no longer the highest exporting commodity. So it supports the notion that the profit per acre for copra production was lower than some of the other commodities.
General Manager of the New Guyana Marketing Corporation, Ida Seeley Adams, presenting a recent report on the coconut farming industry in Guyana. Ms. Seeley Adams explained that in terms of profitability, it was revealed that as a result of the copra demand and prices, farmers did not earn as much as they would have in previous times.
Also found that farmers who did not sell copra had higher profits per acre.
She added that it was also evident from the results of the investigation into coconut farming profitability that the types of coconut sold affected the prices and that the lower the labor cost and the younger the farmer, the higher were the profit. Reporting for HGP Nightly News, I am Kristen Macklingham.
Thank you, Kristen. A reputable regional agricultural mind is saying that renewed investment in Guyana's sugar industry can return it to a state of profitability. Here again is Kristen Macklingham.
All hope is not lost for Guyana's sugar industry because there is a chance for it to stay alive and return to days of glory. This is according to President of the West Indies Agricultural Economics Conference 2017, Dr. Carlisle Pemberton.
I think it will be quite a disappointment for the rest of the region if Guyana's sugar industry were to close. I think all efforts should be made to keep that industry and to maybe expand it.
Dr. Carlisle Pemberton speaking exclusively with Nightly News on Thursday. He stated that from a recent visit to the Blairmont Sugar Estate in Berbice, it was garnered from discussions with the management there that more investment is necessary for the survival of sugar operations in Guyana.
It seems as though there was a little bit of underinvestment in the industry over the last few years, which may have been one of the reasons for the decline. Now, once we were able to invest more into the industry from revenues from other sources, one will be able to improve the profitability and so on, and maybe bring the industry back.
Dr. Pemberton lamented that the decline of the sugar industry and even its demise in other countries in the West Indies do not sit well with authorities in the agricultural arena, and that it is hoped that in Guyana there is renewed investment.
Particularly in agronomic research, trying to find a technological breakthrough to allow the industry to have some resurgence.
Reporting for HGP Nightly News, I am Kristen Macklingham.
To mark its 50th anniversary, Farfan and Mendes gives back generously to a foundation for children with autism. Ayana George reports.
It's the Step by Step Foundation, which caters for children who suffer from autism. On Friday, the foundation received a monetary donation from Farfan and Mendes for the children's social development. General Manager of Farfan and Mendes, Andrew Mendes, tells us more.
Okay, Step by Step Foundation is one of the organizations we've been helping since 2012. Autistic children and addressing those issues is not one that's normally in the mainstream for donations here, but we felt strongly this was something we wanted to support to give these kids the best opportunity for a brighter future. So we've been supporting Step by funding education for one child every year.
He thinks that giving back to the community is required of corporate entities and urge other private entities to do the same.
Basically what we had done is, based on donations given by customers, we extended a much larger discount than we would normally do to our customers. So to a certain extent it's paying to help Step by Step in a way.
Chairperson of Step by Step Foundation, Saria Ismail, expressed her gratitude for the donation. She explains a little more about the foundation.
We've been in existence since 2011 and we rely completely on private sector donations. And we are very grateful to Fafan Mendes for their long-term support. Parents of children who come to us are invited to make donations, but we do not require fees. And therefore sponsorship for children, particularly children who come from needy families, is very, very important to our work.
Reporting for HGP Nightly News, Ayana George.
Thank you, Ayana. Your sportscast is ahead. Good evening, I'm Colwyn Abrams with the HGP Sports. The Ghana Amateur Basketball Association Powerade Malta Supreme Rainforest Water Basketball Tournament continued last evening at the Burnham Court, with the Pepsi Sonic and Guardians winning. More on this by Calvin Chapman.
The Georgetown Amateur Basketball Association's first, second, and under-23 leagues, which are being sponsored by Bangsi IH through 3 of their brands, continued on Thursday night at the Burnham Hard Court with 2 matches. The first of the 2 matches was contested between Pepsi Sonics and Knights, a first division encounter. Sonics won that game 72-58. Trevor Smith led the Sonics charge with a game-high 24 points, sinking 4 3-pointers. Corwin Jackson scored 12 points in a much-needed win for the struggling Cobras. Kester Gomes scored 13 points for the losers Knights, who would have definitely been tired after employing 6 players in the match. Pleasant's Guardians edged Cobras 99-97 in the second and final match on Thursday night. This first division game was closely fought. After Cobras were down 29-19 in the first quarter, they fought well to bring themselves back into the game as they leveled the score at the end of the first half 45-45. A tug-of-war for the lead was witnessed in the remaining half of the game. Pleasant's Guardians' Nikolai Smith scored a massive game-high 40 points and proved to be the difference between the sides. Smith completed 2 free throws to give Guardians the lead when the game was deadlocked on 97-97 in the dying seconds to cap off his outstanding performance. Matches continue tonight and Sunday night at the Burnham Court with 3 matches on each day.
More in basketball, Ghana Under-19 team will be participating in the Inter-Ghana Goodwill Under-19 School Games 2017. The games will be hosted by Suriname from August 24 to 28, 2017. The Ghana delegation will depart for Suriname on the 24th and return to Guyana on the 28th of August 2017. The Ghana Under-19 team will be in camp from August 16 to 23rd at the National Gymnasium, with daily practice sessions from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. at the Cliff Anderson Sports Hall. Ghana Amateur Basketball Federation selected Mr. Abdullah Hamid as head coach, Mr. Troy Green as team manager. Mr. Hamid selected Mr. Kirk Fraser as assistant coach and 12 players to represent Ghana. Stanton Rose, Kokwani, Jermaine King, Berbice, Akeem Crandon, Georgetown, Timothy Thompson, Georgetown, Kevon Wiggins, Berbice, Shamar France, Berbice, Nigel Bowen, East Coast Demerara, Jalil Young, Georgetown, Anton Feline, East Coast Demerara, Jamal Jilks, Kokwani, Akil Vaughn, East Coast Demerara, and Andrew Johnson, also from the East Coast. In cricket, the Ghana Amazon Warriors box office has extended their open hours as the Hero Caribbean Premier League matches scheduled for Providence draws closer. Patrons may pick up their tickets between 8:30 and 18 hours from Mondays to Fridays, and 9 hours to 13 hours on Saturday and Sunday. Please be reminded that it's reserved seating for all matches. Cricket fans are encouraged to buy their tickets early to avoid the rush. Tickets are Red Stand $5,000, Green Stand $5,000, Orange Stand $3,000, and Grass Mount $2,500. Matches are Ghana Amazon Warriors versus Jamaican Tallawahs Thursday, August 17 at 6 p.m. Ghana Amazon Warriors versus Trinbago Knight Riders Saturday, August 19 at 12 midday. Ghana Amazon Warriors versus Barbados Tridents Sunday, August 20 at 6 p.m. Ghana Amazon Warriors versus St. Lucia Stars Tuesday, August 22nd at 6 p.m. And before we end the sportscast this evening, here's some sports events happening around Ghana this weekend. In football, CONCACAF Under-17 World Cup qualifiers continues with the Lady Jacks taking on the mighty Cuban female Under-17 team at the Lenora Track and Field on Sunday from 5 p.m. Admission is free. In athletics, Boyce and Jeffers Track and Field Classic 8 is scheduled for Mackenzie Sports Club ground on August 12 and 13. Also, the Ghana Cup Horse Race Meet is set for Sunday, August 13 at Port Morant Big Yard Turf Club, Quarantine, Berbice. Admission for this event is $2,000 for adults, and children under 12 are free.
Guyana Amateur Basketball Association Powerade Malta Supreme Rainforest Water basketball tournament continues at the Burnham Court on Saturday and Sunday. That is all we have for you tonight in sports. Do have a fun-filling sporting weekend. Back to you, Travis.
If I'm being untruthful, why the cover-up? COI hears police legal advisor to testify. Guyana's People's Militia re-established, and troubling signs in Global Youth Tobacco Survey report. Local children smoke as early as age 7. Those were our major headlines. For these stories and more, you can go to our website. It's www.hgptv.com. I'm Travis Chase. I'll see you right back here on Monday. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.